Who will win the Premier League title and where will Manchester United finish? For cheap good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com, a link will be left in the description, and use code ATLANTISFOOTBALL for 5% off. So in this video I will be predicting the Premier League winner for the upcoming season, and in doing so giving my thoughts on how I think Manchester United will do. I will also be talking about the transfer I don't think will happen before the end of the transfer window, and at the end I will tell you who I think each side's best player and top goal scorer will be for the upcoming season. But before I get into that, let me tell you about my favourite football app, which is the Onefootball app, because this is where I go to keep up to date with the latest circulating transfer rumours, and I find the match section on the app incredibly useful as well. If you like this channel, you'll definitely love this app, so when you go to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like, which would be very much appreciated, make sure you click the link in the description to get the Onefootball app as well, which will help support this channel. So the teams that I think could be involved in the title race this season are Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester, and I will be selecting the top 5 in general as well as the title winner. This isn't to say that I think all of these sides will be involved in a title race, just that I think there is a reasonable probability that they could be. So I'll start off with who I think will finish in 5th and 4th and work my way up. So in 5th I've gone for Liverpool. Now whilst I do think they have a chance of pushing for the title, their transfer window has been so underwhelming that I don't think they've improved enough to bridge that gap. And I think Leicester have improved their squad, and the fact that they only finished just below Liverpool because they collapsed right at the end of the season makes me think that should Leicester develop as I think players like Soyuncu, Maddison, Harvey Barnes and Tielemans will, they will end up with 65 to 70 points and get 4th just ahead of Liverpool, who I also think will finish between 65 and 70 points, but just less than Leicester. In 3rd place I've gone with Manchester United. I think they have improved, but as have Chelsea, and Manchester City were 12 points better than them last season, so it's still a big gap to close. United bringing in Sancho and Varane will make them a lot more convincing, as last season they were winning games through individual brilliance despite not looking quite as convincing as City did. We can see this as United massively overperformed their expected points by 8 points, and in the expected points table they would have finished 4th behind Chelsea and Liverpool. Obviously I don't expect United to regress because they have excellent finishes in the side, which is why they overperformed their points in the first place, but I think even though performance wise we will see United have a massive improvement, I don't think they will improve enough points wise to really challenge for the title into April and May, but I do see them challenging until March and then comfortably finishing in the top 4. Whether that is on par with what United fans and the board want from this season we don't know for sure, but I definitely think United need 1 if not 2 more signings in the transfer window before I can really consider them on the same level as Chelsea and Manchester City, and I may put out a video on which players I think they should sign in the rest of the transfer window, but you can also check out my videos on CAMAVINGA, Varane, Sancho and Declan Rice in regards to Manchester United and whether I think they are or will be good signings. Those videos will be linked in the description below. With Sancho in the side, I think we will see more chances being created, which was a weakness of Manchester United last season, as they lost the same amount of games as City with just 6 losses but drew 6 more, and with Sancho in the side and Martial and Rashford maybe refinding form and Pogba playing more consistently, I think United will convert more draws into victories. That's why I do back them to get between 75 and 80 points, but will ultimately fall away in the title race around the start of March. So my top 2 for next season are Chelsea and Manchester City, and I actually think we will have a title race on our hands, as I predict that both sides will finish between 85 and 90 points, but I think Chelsea will just edge City. Now the reason I think Chelsea will get more points than City is because I think that the Premier League table didn't portray the level of quality between the two sides last season, as Tuchel came in midway through the season, and had he started off the season Chelsea would have been a lot closer to City. Also, if we look at the expected points table last season from when Tuchel came in until the end of the season, Chelsea actually sat 2nd, less than 2x points away from City. In fact, they underperformed their expected points during that period by 4.74 points, whilst also underperforming their XG by 11.14 goals. What we can obviously see from these stats is that Chelsea suffered from poor finishing. That's why the Romelu Lukaku transfer is a game changer regardless of him being overpriced by about £30 million in my opinion. I still think the Lukaku transfer is a grade A transfer, as even though Chelsea did overpay, the significant improvement Lukaku will bring to an underperforming area of Chelsea's game almost makes the overpayment acceptable. Chelsea have a fantastic squad in terms of their defensive and offensive qualities and have immense quality in depth. The centre forward area was the only real weakness, so bringing in a world class striker like Lukaku could add 10 to 15 points onto their season total. I also think that City could suffer from over-rotation. This could definitely be a problem for players like Grealish, Foden, Mahrez and Sterling, who may find that Pep's radical personnel changes break up their good runs of form and lead to inconsistency. I think that Reece James, Kai Havertz, Ziyech and Rudiger will go from players who look like they have the potential to be elite to players who are elite, and their output this season will dramatically improve from last season, in particular Hakim Ziyech, who I think will be in the argument for the Player of the Season award. Havertz I expect to hit double figures for goals and put in a similar sort of season to Dele Alli in 2015-2016. Now a lot of you will wonder why I don't think City will win the title, and it's because I don't think they will sign Harry Kane. Even if City and Tottenham were to agree on a fee in the region of £130 million, I think that Tottenham will block the move because they have all the power in this situation, with Kane still having 3 years left on his contract, and they won't be able to sufficiently replace Kane with just a few weeks left in the window, and the whole of Europe knowing they have £100 million plus in recent revenue. This will mean City will be going into the new season with a depleted forward line from last season with Aguero gone, and without the elite clinical finisher, I can see City being caught by Chelsea, who now have that player. City last season finished with 86 points, and I think they will achieve around that mark again this season, but I just think that Chelsea, with the signing of Lukaku, who I back to get at least 20 goals this season, they are going to be in the high 80s as well, and will just pip City to the post. In terms of each side's best player and top goal scorer, for Liverpool I'm going to say that Salah will be Liverpool's best player and top goal scorer, getting between 18 and 20 Premier League goals. For Leicester I think Jamie Vardy will be their top scorer with 14 to 16 goals, with Yuri Tielemans being their best player. For Manchester United I think Jadon Sancho will be their best player, with Cavani finishing as top goal scorer, getting between 15 and 17 goals. I think City's top goal scorer and best player will be Phil Foden, with him getting between 13 and 15 goals, and starting to challenge De Bruyne in terms of being City's most important player, with Ruben Dias also vying for that title. For Chelsea I think Lukaku will be their top scorer with 20 to 22 goals, and the league's top goal scorer as well, and Kante will be Chelsea's best player and the league's best player, as I back either him or Hakim Ziyech to pick up the PFA Player of the Season award. My predictions could obviously change before the end of the transfer window if City were to sign Kane, if United were to bring in an elite central midfielder, if Liverpool improved their forward line, or if key players from each side picked up long-term injuries. I will be putting out videos on one player each of the top sides should sign before the end of the transfer window, so let me know the player you think Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Leicester and even Arsenal and Tottenham should sign before the window slams shut. Also check out my recent videos on the real reason why Messi is leaving Barcelona and how I would fit Messi, Mbappe and Neymar into the same PSG side while still being defensively balanced. All of those videos will be linked in the description below, so thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, remember to subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, give the video a like, put your thoughts in the comment section below, go to the description as I said, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more content as well.